Today's Detroit Grand Prix is the halfway point in this year's 16-round World Championship, and it's a very significant event. Last weekend in Canada, the reigning world champion Nelson Piquet, who's been plagued by engine problems for the whole season, scored his first points with a dominant victory over the all-conquering McLaren team. Today he's in pole position, and if his car will go the distance, he's in line for another 9 points. And that really would make the championship come to life. At the moment, Alain Prost has a massive lead with 32.5 points from a third, a second and 3 wins. The last of which was a controversial one in the shortened wet race at Monaco. Second, the other McLaren driver, Niki Lauda, in superb form this year. 24 points from a second and 2 wins, South Africa and the French Grand Prix at Dijon. Then it's Ferrari's René Arnoux. 5 points finishes in the 7 Grand Prix for 16.5 points. Fourth, Elio De Angelis in his JPS Lotus after 6 finishes in the top 6. Derek Warwick's 5th after starting the season superbly but failing to finish in the last 3 races. And 6th, 1982 world champion Keke Rosberg in spite of a car that just won't handle. McLaren, leading the Constructors' Championship, are beginning to look impregnable, with over twice as many points as second-place Ferrari, who are ahead of the very reliable and consistent JPS Lotus team and the frankly disappointingly unsuccessful Renaults. But on today's appallingly bumpy street circuit in sweltering heat, anything could happen. Championship leader Prost is second on the grid, with Nigel Mansell maintaining his excellent 1984 form 3rd, Alboreto 4th, De Angelis 5th and Derek Warwick 6th. Ayrton Senna's an excellent 7th ahead of Cheever, Tournbay and Lauda, and Martin Brundle's done superbly to take the 11th starting place. So, all set, watch the lights. It's green and go, and Nigel Mansell comes through from the centre, and he makes contact. He's taken off Piquet, and Alboreto's hit, and De Angelis goes up into second place, Nigel Mansell third, and looking back down the grid, there's Piquet's car with a right rear wheel missing, and Marc Surer stationary alongside him. Now, this is going to cause very real organisational problems as the pace car goes by. And there's Piquet still in the cockpit, and Alboreto has gone off the circuit on the second corner. The Scarlet Ferrari of Michele Alboreto reversing back, and his radiator is holed. Look at the steam coming from the left side of the car. The pace car comes through, so that's 3 cars off already before half a lap has been completed.
Yes, and they put the red flag out, Murray. They've got no cranes here at the circuit to pull the cars off, and being a street circuit, with barriers all the way around, there is nothing that they can do, and here we're going to see the start again. Now you see Mansell makes the best start, but he was headed for a gap that really wasn't big enough, and it was difficult for Mansell. You've got to go. Probably when he started, he'd lined his car up for that gap for the best start, but he made contact with Piquet, got the back end. We see it again. The back end of Piquet's car starts swirling, and then he just spins into the wall and boom. Wheels coming off all over the place, and they stop the race.
Nigel Mansell, not the start of the race that anybody wanted. Could you tell us exactly what happened?
Well, the red lights turned to green. I got away, and I got an initial jump on Nelson and Alain. There's a gap in the middle. I went for the gap in the middle, accelerated in first and was virtually alongside them. And then all of a sudden, both cars just started to come in. I had nowhere to go. And Alan came across first, which pushed me into Nelson. I just moved. Then Nelson started to come across, and I tried to move away from him. I got nowhere to go.
Yes, and quite right what Nigel says. It's one of those things, things start closing up, there's nothing you can do. And now we look at Alboreto again. But in fact, his car was spinning there, I think, probably because of damage caused at that start line incident. He got a big bang from Piquet's right rear wheel,